honor the Texas flag, and pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one indivisible. Thank you, gentlemen. Item 1B, roll call, Panama Quorum, Ms. Solis.
Yes. Mayor Villarreal is absent. Mayor Pro Tem Ramirez.
Here.
Commissioner De Leon. Can he hear us?
Commissioner De Leon, are you on Zoom with us? Well, he might have not.
Eddie. Yeah. Is it?
Okay.
He doesn't join? Okay. We'll acknowledge if he does join a little bit later.
Okay.
Okay. Commissioner Olivares.
Here.
Commissioner Escobedo.
Here.
We have quorum.
Very good, thank you. Moving on to item C, public forum. Anybody sign up for public forum at this time, Ms. Solis?
Nobody signed up for public.
Okay. 1D, departmental reports, Mr. Castillo.
Yeah, we have Ms. Rubio that is going to give us a quick update.
Okay. Ms. Rubio, welcome.
Hello, Commission. Good afternoon, good evening. I just want to talk about a few events that we have coming up. This weekend, the Rio Grande City Greater Chamber of Commerce is hosting the first ever Pit Boss Showdown Cook-Off and Car Show at the Basilio Park from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. It's going to be a long day, but they're going to have, like I said, a cook-off. They're going to have their car show. They already have over 50 vehicles signed up for the car show, and I think they're still going to even be registering more the day of. There's gonna be vendors, there's gonna be live music, it's gonna be a fun time for the whole family, and it's a completely free event. So everybody is welcome to join. On the 25th, we're gonna be celebrating Dia del Niño, hosted by the Public Library, again at the Basilio Park. That's gonna start at 5 p.m. on, again, the 25th, which is, I believe, next Thursday. So then right after that, on the 27th, Autism Living Star County will be hosting the 7th annual Autism Living Awareness Festival from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. at the Basilio Park, our beautiful Basilio Park. We get so many compliments on that park, on all of our parks, but great park to have an event at, as you can see, all three of these. And then we're gonna be hosting, along with several other churches and pastors in our community, the National Day of Prayer on Thursday, May 2nd at 6 p.m. And that's going to actually be at the historical kiosco in downtown on Britton Avenue. Several pastors are going to come out. I believe even some of our priests from the Catholic Church are going to be joining us to pray for our first responders, law enforcement, our whole city, our whole community, our city leaders. So everybody is welcome to join us for that as well. Again, on the 2nd, May 2nd, the National Day of Prayer at 6 p.m. And that's it for right now. Lots of events coming up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A lot of great events coming up, so thank you. Moving on to item 2A, consent agenda. We have approval of minutes from the previous meetings and departmental travel.
I so move.
Got a motion to approve consent agenda, item A and B?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Olivares. If you're in agreement, signify by raising your right hand. Motion passes. Item 3, Deputy City Manager's Report. Item A, presentation and acceptance of the fiscal year 2022-2023 finance audit of the city of Rio Grande City. Mr. Cantu.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, Commissioners. We have Mr. Hernandez here with us today, here to present our audit for the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2023. I think he's got some good news for us, so I'll let him take the stand.
Give us the good news, Mr. Hernandez.
Yes, sir. Good evening.
Good evening.
Everyone should have a copy of the audit report. And I'm going to begin on page 1 just briefly. And page 1 is the independent auditor's report. It is unmodified, and that translates into a clean opinion. At the bottom of page 1, that includes a new accounting principle that was adopted by the city, and you are in conformance with the new accounting principle. So I'm going to reemphasize that the opinion is unmodified and clean. I do that because you earn this every year. It's not something that is automatic. Although it may seem automatic, every year I've been here, it's always been unmodified. But I understand that every year we come in here, we're auditing a new set of financial statements. So what the opinion says is that your financial statements are in conformity with accounting principles, and there are no material departures, and there are no material omissions of amounts or representations. So again, the city has earned this, and you've done so as long as we've been your auditors, and I think even before your previous auditors. So good work on that. Questions on this?
No.
If not, I'd like to jump to page 17 and 18. I'm going to change glasses for this. Page 17. This is your statement of revenues, expenditures, and changes in fund balances for your governmental funds. The first column contains your general fund. Total revenues were $8,796,943. As you pan down to total expenditures, those were $9,510,255. So your expenditures did exceed your revenues by negative $713,312. However, you had some operating transfers in from other related funds, which is allowed, and certainly it was planned. That amount was $1,083,910. After doing this, your increase to your fund balance is $370,598. You started with a fund balance of $3,622,084. There is an additional increase of $32,093. This is related to that new accounting principle. So you ended with a fund balance for your general fund of $4,024,775. Any questions on the general fund?
No.
So an increase of almost $400,000. On page 18, at the very bottom, fund balances for all combined funds, all combined funds, $15,175,717. Any questions?
Can you give us a breakdown of all the accounts combined? I know the city has 4 million, so the other comes from the EDC and other.
I certainly can. Understand that page 17 and 18 include only governmental funds.
Okay.
The first column was the general, the second column was the EDC, and that had an ending balance of $1,772,000. You had your series 2020 COs, and that had an ending fund balance of $4,411,231. Now, all other combining funds are found in the back end of the audit report by rule. What you're looking at here are major funds, and major funds are determined by a formula. So the only ones that became major were the EDC, the COs. The general fund is always major. So again, all other funds are on page 18 under the other funds. And those ended with $4,966,963. Again, giving you a total of a little over $15 million. Any other questions? If not, we'll jump to page 22 and 23. And 22 and 23 is the statement of revenues, expenses, and changes in fund net position for your proprietary funds, water and sewer and sanitation funds. On page 23, towards the bottom where you see change in net position, that is an increase of $1,411,184. You can call this a profit if you'd like in the business sense, but that's what occurred, an increase of $1.4 million. This fund started with $393,046. Again, the prior period that we made because of the new accounting pronouncement of $5,489. And this fund ended with $23,809,719. A very good result, $1.4 million increase. Any questions? One last financial statement I just want to briefly cover with you on page 11. On page 11, we're going backwards here. Page 11 is the statement of net position at September 30, 2023. Now, this is including the entire net equity, net worth of the city, all funds under what we call full accrual accounting. If you just scan this, you'll see that you now have capital assets, you have land, you have infrastructure, buildings, and then towards the bottom, you have debt. And you're also reporting your portion of the retirement payable, if you will. Retirement payable that is not carried here, is carried at the state level, but in accordance with an accounting pronouncement that was introduced years ago, you are reporting your respective share. At the very bottom of the first column is your governmental activities. That ended with $23,132,522. The middle column again is your business activity, or again your proprietary fund. That had $23,809,719. So in total, the city on the full accrual accounting has $46,942,241. So if you're ever asked, well, how much is the city worth in the business sense? You can say almost $47 million. Any questions?
That includes all liquid assets, properties, and
Absolutely.
et cetera, everything combined.
Outstanding debt, your cash balances, your fixed assets minus depreciation. So yes, sir, everything that is all inclusive. Any questions?
No, sir, it was very clear.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hernandez.
Thank you for the
Appreciate it.
review, sir. Thank you.
Okay, at this time, any more discussion? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved, Mayor.
To approve?
Mr. All second.
Okay, a motion and a second, everybody in agreement, signify by raising your right hand. Motion passes. Thank you so much, Mr. Hernandez. Appreciate your time, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Moving on to item 4 on the agenda, resolutions. Item A, discuss, consider and amend application filing and authorize representative resolution for Rio Grande City Water System Improvements Project. Ms. Bass?
Good evening, Commissioners, Mayor Pro Tem. This item is related to our Texas Water Development Board EDAP application. We have been working on this application since last year, trying to find the funding, as I mentioned some meetings ago, on the studies and getting our old water treatment plant running. Because of the change in scope of work as we went working through it, this is a 50-50. What we were looking at as a rehab turned out to be a general approach to water system improvements. And so Texas Water Development Board wants us to change the name of our project from a rehab to water system improvement. And hopefully this will go to the Texas Water Development Board in June. And that way we can close on 11 million, 50% being grant.
With the amount of the loan or grant, 50-50 you said, right?
So yeah,
Will
the
that
loan
change?
would
Will
be
it remain
5
the same?
million. Yes, it's just the title of the
title of
project
the
that's being
project.
changed. So they want a new resolution.
Okay. And can you explain again why they want to change the resolution?
Because the previous resolution that was approved said rehabilitation to water treatment plant number 1.
Okay.
And as we worked through the application, making sure that all the scope would be eligible under the EDAP, it became as a general water system improvement. And this came directly from TWDB their recommendations.
So rehabilitation and improvement, two different things. It kind of seems to me like it's the same,
That's right.
rehab, improve.
It's just that we needed to include the water loss, the purchase of water rights. They also request us to include asset management. And so all of this was not directly at the water treatment plant. So in order to make it a more general approach to include these studies, that's why they are asking for this change in the name of the project.
Got it.
I move that we approve the amended application as
Okay.
presented.
Got a motion?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Escobedo. Everybody in agreement, signify by raising your right hand.
Thank you.
Motion passes. Thank you, Ms. Diaz. Moving on to item 4B on the agenda, the discussion, consideration, and possible action to resolve to suspend the effective date of the AEP, Texas Inc.'s requested rate change to allow for time to study the request and establish reasonable rates, to authorize cooperation and intervention in the rate proceedings, to engage Lloyd Gosselin, Rochelle, and Townsend, PC, for legal and consulting services, to mandate rate case expense reimbursement, and to ensure public access and notice as required by law. Mr. Castillo.
Yes, Mr. Limits, had Mr. Peña look at this and kind of review it so he could explain a little bit a lot of legal.
I'll take it.
Okay.
All right, so members of the commission, so AEP has temporary services. They use fancy terms basically for generator usage whenever there's a power outage. They negotiated a amount of revenue they're supposed to take from the use of those generators. They want to increase that revenue. I think it's throughout the Rio Grande Valley. It might be throughout the state of Texas, but nonetheless, it affects households that use 1,000 watts or more. I think that's the average household at about $1.41. It's an increase of about 45 cents over the existing rates. So we received this. They're asking us to join a coalition of other cities, including McAllen, to contest the rate, and the case is reimbursable, so it's at no cost to the city. They'll be reimbursed from funds that are allocated somehow throughout the process. So we were approached, or we received information from Lloyd Gosselin, and they did provide this resolution as a courtesy for your consideration.
Okay. Any
So-
questions?
So this is basically so they won't raise the price? Am I understanding correctly?
They're going to come in and negotiate that $1.41 increase.
$1.41.
And this resolution would do what?
It would get Lloyd Gosselin to represent the city of Rio Grande so we can join in the coalition.
Go with every- the
So
whole
we're
town.
joining other cities.
Got it.
This is $1.41 is monthly, correct?
Yes. For 1,000 kilowatt hours of electricity. So it'd be an increase of 45 cents would be the over existing rates.
So in a month, it would be like $1.41 more?
I'm assuming that's going to be the case, Commissioner. But again, it's something that affects everybody together.
Yes.
As they said, it's just an opportunity for them, I guess, to just try to cut it and say, hey, you're making enough revenue. But I think it's a $10 million revenue increase is what they're
So
requesting from the
administration is
government.
requesting that we join this coalition?
It's a recommendation.
Recommendation from legal.
I move that we join the coalition and approve item 4B as presented.
Okay, I got a motion? Commissioner Blanes?
I'll second.
Second, Commissioner Escobedo. Everybody in agreement, signify by raising your right hand. Motion passes. Moving on to item 5A, contracts and agreements. Item A, discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding the approval of expenditures and contracts valued less than $50,000 but more than $5,000 that comply with or are exempt from section 252-.0215 of the local government code.
Yes, Commissioner, we have a lot of applications for chemicals, for NetSync, for Freedom Fest. There's a couple of other ones, I believe it's for Milden and Hunt, and those are big pay applications. Ms. Bass, I don't know if you want to explain those a little bit, but they're all general payments that we work on on a monthly basis for the most part. The Milden and Hunt, the pay applications, Ms. Bass, because those are big amounts, if you could just
Yeah.
kind of go over them real quick.
So invoices from Meldon Hunt had been kind of withheld from approval, recommendation of our finance director. They had kind of stayed behind on the wastewater treatment plant project. Since then, they have brought it up to date. We had a meeting today with the people from NatBank here, and so now they're being released for approval. That's why they all came in over the number of months until they caught up with the project.
Administration is requesting, recommending approval.
Yes, it is part of the contract.
Finance
for the-
Director also.
Any more discussion? Questions?
Also move.
Okay, got a motion to approve?
Second.
Got a second, everybody in agreement, signify
Thank you,
by raising your right hand. Motion passes. Thank you. Moving on to item 5B, discussion, consideration, and possible action to contract extension between the city of Rio Grande City and the city of Rio Grande City International Ambassador Ruben Islas for fiscal year 2023-2024.
Yes, Commissioner, this is an extension to Mr. Islas's contract, and the agreement basically stays the same as the previous year.
Okay.
And, this, he's done a very good job, communicating back and forth and getting projects and, communication between our Mexican partners and us. over
I
here
move that we
in the
approve
United
item 5B.
I'll second.
Okay, I agree with Mr. Castillo. Mr. Islas has done an excellent job, so I got a motion by Commissioner Olivares, second by Commissioner Escuedo. Everybody in agreement, signify by raising your right hand. Motion passes. Thank you, gentlemen. Moving on to item 6A, discussion, consideration, and possible action authorizing the city secretary to notice a public hearing in accordance with section 43.0673 of the local government code for the annexation of 70.07 acre tract of land out of Porcion 78. This annexation process is initiated at the specific request of the property owner, Alcon Development LLC, in accordance with local government code, section 43.0671.
Commissioners, Mayor Pro Tem, so this is another one of the steps as we move forward with this voluntary annexation. You have since approved the petition and the development agreement at the last meeting. And so now we need for you to officially call in order for a public hearing. Public hearing cannot be more than 20 and not less than 11 days before you hold the next meeting. So with this order, we can move forward to make the publication of the public hearing, hold the public hearing, and then we can move forward with the annexation.
Very good. Any more discussion or questions at this time?
No, I so move.
Got a motion by Commissioner Escuedo,
Second.
second by Commissioner Olivares. Everybody in agreement, signify by raising your right hand. Motion passes. Thank you, gentlemen. Moving on to item B, discussion, consideration, and possible action to approve and execute modification to number 3 for the wastewater, the WWTP Rehabilitation and Expansion Project 73874. Ms. Beas?
Yes, sir. This is a technical assistance agreement that we have from the North American Development Bank. It is related to the wastewater treatment plant. This agreement funds the planning portion for the sewer plant. They pay the feasibility and the environmental. So we are extending it for another 6 months so they can complete it. I know that the feasibility is by April 30th. They will submit the category C, and within the next 30 days, the categorical exclusion for the environmental, and we will complete this portion with the NatBank funding. If you, just a little reminder, this project has 2 fundings, Texas Water Development Board and North American Development Board Bank funding. So we've complied with the Texas Water Development Board, now we're looking at complying with the NatBank.
What is the projected end date for this project? I know it's been going on for some time, so what are we looking at? I mean, as far as where are we at? We're at midpoint, and we're 25% into this project. Where are we at? Exactly?
Actually, we had that discussion this about 3 o'clock today, and so the project, because of the, we'll probably go out for bids for the wastewater, the sewer plant, will August, September. They're looking at about 600 days for completion, and the reason for that being that there is a lot of problems with material and equipment being throughout the contracting world. I know that it has held back on some of our projects. We've had the public safety building, the Via Villanueva development also has had to delay their schedule for construction due to the supply demand that's happening, I guess, throughout the area. So we're looking at 600 days from August for the sewer plant.
600 days.
Yes.
Almost 2 years. Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Any more questions or comments at this time?
I move that we approve modification number 3 as presented.
You got a motion?
I'll
Commissioner
second.
Hernandez, got a second. Breaking an agreement signify by raising right hand. Motion passes. Thank you. Moving on to item 6C, discussion, consideration, and possible action on the approval of change order number 1 for furniture from Texas Wilson for the Public Safety Building, Project 2020.06.
So, at the last meeting, the proposal for the furniture for the new public safety building was approved. These were quotes that have been worked on, and there was an oversight on the casters, the wheels on some of the chairs. They have been proposed for carpet, but we're not having carpet in the building, so they have to change those wheels. And that is an increase of $632.56.
That's not bad. Okay.
Okay.
Any questions?
No, I so move.
Got a motion?
Second.
A second, and breaking an agreement signify by raising right hand. Motion passes. Moving on to item 6D, discussion, consideration, and possible action on the approval of the City of Rio Grande City, Texas, and H2 RGC Hospitality Chapter 380 Economic Development Resolution and Reimbursement Agreement. Ms. Hernandez.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and Commission. Before you is a resolution and agreement for the H2 RGC Hospitality 380 agreement, and this is for the Home 2 by Hilton development that should be breaking ground very soon.
Very good. So we're super excited about this hotel. There's a great need for more hotel rooms here in our community. So again, super excited that this project is moving forward. So anything else you'd like to add? Anybody? I know we discussed here at the ADC, but yeah. So any, I guess, starting date you said there would be
So
within-
they have requested their permit. I know they're in the final leg of the financing for the project, so we're looking at a groundbreaking within the next quarter.
Very good.
Awesome. I so move.
Got a motion, Commissioner Escobedo?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Olivares, any an agreement signify by raising your right hand. Motion passes. Thank you, Ms.
Thank
Hernandez. Moving on to item 6E, discussion, consideration, and possible action on the interlocal agreement between the Lower Rio Grande Valley Development Council and Rio Grande City Police Department for the Texas Commission on Law Enforcement, TICLO, training reporting.
Yes,
Chief.
Commissioner, this is a agreement with the Lower Grand Valley, so we could have, train with them and to get academy credit for our TICO license. We're officers, so we could also do some training here in-house. We already do with Laredo, so we're getting some other avenues over here in the valley side. So that's what the agreement says. It's an MOU.
What kind of trainings, Chief, do y'all do with these?
These will be all the required trainings every 2 years for our law enforcement officers, and some of the ones that we have to bring in people or send people out, so we'll be able to do them in-house.
There's mandatory training for all officers to get recertified in all these areas?
That is correct, and this is also police and dispatch, and we have over 55 officers, so it becomes a little bit taskful when you have to be sending in people out, so we do some of this in-house ourselves, and especially some of the other requirements that have been mandated to our officers with their licensing and continuing education.
Correct. Very good.
I
Thank
move that
you.
we approve item 6E as
Is there a
presented.
motion?
I'll second.
In the second, okay. Agreement signify by raising right hand. Motion passes. Moving on to item 7 on the agenda, planning. 7A, discussion, consideration, and possible action on approval of plat application for Colinas subdivision phase 1.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem,
Good evening.
Commissioners,
Good afternoon.
members of the audience. This is subdivision, Colinas Phase 1, located on the 755 area by La Carla Road. It's within our 5-mile ETJ. It's 28 acres. It's for 39 residential lots. It's going to be serviced by OSSF septic tanks, and it's a CCN of a tank of water supply. And it was approved by the Planning and Zoning Board on their meeting of April 11th.
Very good. Any more discussion or questions for Mr. Villar at this time?
I move that we approve item 7A.
Got a motion?
I'll second.
Second, everybody in agreement signify by raising your right hand. Motion passes. Moving on to item 7B, discussion, consideration, and possible action on approval of plat application for Riverwalk Estates subdivision phase 1. Mr. Milan?
Yes, sir. This subdivision is by La Paz Cemetery on the west side of town, close to Alvarez Road on the south side of Highway 83.
Okay.
This is 22 acres. This phase 1 of the subdivision is going to be, that is within our 500 feet of city jurisdiction
Okay.
along 83, which catches the 4 commercial lots and 4 residential lots. It's 28 residential lots total, where It lies, like I said, within the 500 feet. It's OSSF systems, septic tanks, it's real water supply, and it was recommended for approval by Planning and Zoning.
I so move.
Excellent. Got a motion, Commissioner Coelho, second, Commissioner Olivares, to amend agreement signify by raising your right hand. Motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Milan.
Thank you.
Now, moving on to item 8, executive session under chapter 551, Texas Government Code, section 551.071, consultation with attorney, and 551.017, real estate. At this time, it's 6:35, we'll go into executive session. Oh, sign this.
Ready, we're ready?
We're back from executive session at 7:13 PM. Item 9, reconvene into regular session. In consideration of action on matter discussed during executive session, including the following. Item A, no action. Item B, no action. And item 9C, no action. This time, item 10, adjournment. Entertain a motion.
I so move.
A motion. I don't want to leave yet. Second. 7:13, adjourned. Thank you.
That's the most power I've ever felt.